opportunity, but controlling the environmental impact.
304-296-0041 is our number. And if you have a question for either of our candidates, Kevin Patrick or Steve Cook, call during the break and we'll get you on in the next segment. 304-296-0041.
Man, I love football season.
Yeah, tailgates are about the only fun anyone gets to have these days.
Yeah. See, multi-millionaire politicians like John Racy, they can't understand what we're going through.
Yeah, Racy wants to eliminate the minimum wage.
Against the minimum wage. And Racy, he didn't pay workers' comp for on-the-job injuries.
And he signed a pledge that protected tax breaks for corporations sending jobs overseas.
Overseas? What, like China?
Yep. And with countries like China breaking fair trade rules on steel production, Racy opposed cracking down.
Oh, siding with China on steel. Thanks, Chairman Racy. That's cost West Virginia good-paying jobs.
Hey, all these jobs heading to places like China. Who do you think works them over there?
I don't know, but they don't have football in China.
Well, thanks to politicians like John Racy, we may not have jobs, but at least we still have football.
Yeah.
Paid for by the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee, www.dscc.org. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. The Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee is responsible for the content of this advertising.
When you get rewarded in business, it's usually for going above and beyond.
Alan, expect a bonus. You know, for all the work you did on the Ziskin account.
You worked the past 3 weekends, Liz. Take a few days off and recharge.
At U.S. Cellular, we're taking a different approach to rewards. With the Belief Project and the industry's first rewards program with points, you earn rewards ranging from overage forgiveness to faster phone upgrades just by doing things you'd normally do, like paying your bill or adding a line. Join today and start accumulating points every month.
Now at U.S. Cellular, get a BlackBerry Bold smartphone for $159.99 after Belief plan with Data Plus and or new 2-year agreement. Applicable data plan required. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details.
The Belief Project from U.S. Cellular. To learn more, visit uscellular.com/project.
Visit GNS Wireless, your authorized agent of U.S. Cellular, now located at the Suncrest Town Center, Glenmark Center next to Shop and Save, Morgantown Mall, Middletown Mall, and Fairmont Avenue. Also located in the Meadowbrook Mall, Rosebud Plaza, Nutter Fort, Grafton, and in Buchanan.
Imagine you could write a letter to the White House and be certain that President Obama would read it. What would it say? Would it be a Valentine?
Dear Mr. President, you are doing an awesome job. I just love all the wasteful spending. The failed stimulus plan, the government takeover of health care,
Would you give the Obama agenda your full personal support?
President Obama, our economy in West Virginia is wonderful. Just keep doing exactly what you're doing. I fully support all of your policies.
You will be sending Obama a Valentine if you vote for Joe Manchin for Senate. Joe Manchin supports Obama's worst policies. Manchin supported Obama on health care and the wasteful stimulus, too. Washington has a way of putting pressure on even good people. How about we send Joe Manchin back to Charleston and send a message to Obama? The National Republican Senatorial Committee paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.nrsc.org.
You can reach Kay and Jim right now on Morgantown AM. Email us, WAJR at WVRadio.com, or call 304-296-0041. Now, back to Kay and Jim on WAJR.
Yeah, and don't forget, early voting, I think, is over on the 30th, isn't it?
Oh, that's
30th
Saturday.
is it. So now you've had the opportunity to know the candidates, and of course Hoppy has been covering all the state races. We've been covering all the local races, and this morning we have Steve Cook and also Kevin Patrick in the studio with us right now. And let's go to Bill. He has a question about health care. Go ahead, Bill. You're on the air.
Good morning, Kay and Jim, and thank you for the opportunity. There's no question that nationalized health care, or Obamacare as we call it, will have tremendous pressure on state budgets regarding the present employees for the state, university professors, school teachers, and the like. Is the state legislature prepared to raise premiums or co-pays on state employees based on their salaries?
Steve, let's start with you on that, and I would imagine that you'll be affected as well. Could you answer Bill's question?
Well, I don't think that the national health care system that's currently in place is going to have an impact in terms of current employees of the university. The PEIA is certainly funded, paid for. There may be some shortfalls there. The premiums are being adjusted on an annual basis. The deductibles are being increased on an annual basis, unfortunately. Where it will impact the state budget is when you talk about Medicaid. For folks that don't have coverage and so forth, I think that the Medicaid burden is going to be increased on the states, and many of the states' governors have talked about that potential problem. I don't know that I have an answer for that, but increasing premiums for PEIA employees is not related to Medicaid at all.
Okay, thank you very much, Steve. But overall, good bill or a bad bill? The health care bill.
Well, There are many, many good features. If I had to say is it good or bad, black or white, I would say it's good. There's more good than there is bad.
All right,
okay,
thank you,
thanks, Steve Cook and Kevin Patrick.
Sure. Well, at least the individual mandate is definitely unconstitutional. Article 1, Section 8 is very clear on Congress's 16 powers, and mandating an individual purchase a product or service is not in there.
This is when they come back. If you don't buy insurance, they can fine you.
Sure, and if you refuse to pay the fine, presumably they'll send you to jail. If you refuse to go to jail, what happens then? That becomes a scary situation. As far as what the state legislature thinks they can do, I honestly can't speak on that. I don't have my ear to exactly what they plan to do. But Delegate Miller has something called the Health Care Freedom Act, which would effectively nullify the individual mandate, which is a step in the right direction. As far as good bill or bad bill goes, bad bill.
And you think it'll be challenged?
It's already being challenged by more than a handful of states. A federal judge has already ruled that they have standing, so that will go to trial with at least 22 states.
304-296-0041. I know in some parts of Montague County, some residents are a little frustrated they can't vote for people like you and then like Steve, and they would like to see some redistricting and some boundaries change. How do you feel about that, Kevin?
My understanding is we will be redistricted this year after the census. I support single-member districts. I think that 100 single-member districts across the state is the way to go. If we increase, there's one suggestion that we actually increase the size of the districts, but that makes it incredibly difficult to get in contact with voters.
So they're going to redistrict based on the 2010 census, and these districts are established via population. So if everybody wanted the 44th district to be within Montague County, you'd have to throw that out the window, the demographic portion of districting, correct?
That's my understanding.
Okay, Steve, what do you think?
Well, I don't think you would throw it out the window, Jim. As you know, we currently have the 4 delegates in the 44th delegate district, but within Monongalia County, there are 7 precincts that fall in other delegate districts. Now, when you start redistricting, which we will be doing, which is one of the very important issues the legislature would be addressing, I would favor, quite frankly, having all of Monongalia County included in the 44th delegate district, and if in fact that would entitle us to have 5 delegates, I would support that.
All right, thank you. We invite your phone calls at 304-296-0041. Another topic that has come up this week, the county commission could decide to expand to 5 commissioners. There's also a petition that could go around and then be presented to the state legislature to allow Monongalia County to have 5 commissioners. Steve, would you be in favor of Monongalia County expanding to 5 commissioners?
Yes, I would support that, although I would observe that I think there's only one other county in the state that has 5 commissioners. I would also observe that even if we went to 5 commissioners, it would not necessarily stop some of the contentious issues that are being addressed and some of the problems that exist between commissioners. Instead of 3, then you have 5. You also have to keep in mind that if you go to 5, it increases the cost of running the county commission. But would I support it? Yes, I would.
Why would you support it then, Steve?
Well, I think that it does give, if that were done, it localizes the representation. For example, even though now the county commissioners, one has to be from the Eastern District, one from the Central District, one from the Western District, if you're talking about somebody being from the western end of the county, that county commissioner does not really exist, because the Western District, which tends to be fairly sparsely populated, that really comes into, almost Morgantown, if you will.
Yeah, that's the area that I keep hearing mentioned in this 5 county commission debate. And thank you, Steve Cook. Kevin, would you be in favor of 5 commissioners?
No, I would be against that for precisely the reasons that Mr. Cook stated. I think that the cost far outweighs any implied benefit. You're still going to have sort of cliques and partisan hackery involved. And I don't think that the implied benefit is greater than the cost.
But do you see any areas of the county kind of being left out in representation?
I think that's the case, but I think the idea that you can represent everyone 100% is probably a fallacy and not correct. Morgantown often thinks that it runs Mon County, but it is also a significant portion of Mon County. We can maybe do something to work on that balance, but I don't know that increasing that to 5 is that solution.
We're going to take our final break. If you want to get your question in, there's still time. 304-296-0041.
West Virginia seniors on fixed incomes are hurting. For the second year in a row, seniors won't get a cost of living adjustment on their Social Security benefits because of Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, and career politician Mike Oliverio.
But Mike Oliverio voted himself a 33% pay raise, and seniors on Social Security get nothing.
Mike Oliverio supports Obamacare and the $500 billion cuts to Medicare.
Worse, Oliverio even supports a plan to cut Social Security.
And Mike Oliverio supports a plan that could cut health care for wounded veterans, veterans' pensions,
and other veteran services by nearly $500 million.
Mike Oliverio even called cutting Social Security and Medicare a nice start.
No surprise, because Oliverio called himself a proud career politician.
Mike Oliverio, a campaign full of lies to hide the fact that he supports the policies of Barack Obama and Nancy Pelosi that hurt West Virginia seniors.
I'm David McKinley, and I approve this message.
Paid for by McKinley for Congress.
Scott C's, the area's #1 used car supercenter.
Hey, Chad Smith. You know, I keep seeing that fleet truck unloading cars there every day. I know you've got some shockingly spooktacular deals that we can tell folks about.
I just got in an 09 Nissan Versa.
Now, these aren't stripped-out models, are they, Chad?
These cars are loaded. All power options, tilt, cruise, side airbags, and only 16,000 miles.
All right, hit me with a price.
Just $99.55.
Under $10,000 for an 09 with 16,000 miles and under factory warranty? Unbelievable. Oh, hey, I also saw you got a load of Mitsubishi Endeavors.
Well, I started with 5, but I only have 2 left.
Those are the ones that run over 30 grand, right?
New they are, but I'm selling automatic 4-wheel drive, still under factory warranty, for $20,955.
Carry the one. That's like $12,000 off. Wow, somebody's going to get the deal of their life.
Like I say, every deal, every day.
Folks, you can check out Scott C's entire lineup at ScottCAutos.com. Then visit them in person at the area's #1 used car supercenter and get your deal of a lifetime from Scott C's.
He's got the best ingredients to cause a sizzle and a stir, and he's running for the House of Delegates, where his cooking will be good for sure. Steve Cook, and he's running for the House of Delegates, where his cooking will be good for sure.
Steve previously served 13 years in the legislature, 10 years on the Board of Education, and has been a tenured WVU faculty member for 25 years. We need an independent thinker with experience representing us in Charleston.
Steve Cook, and he's running for the House of Delegates, where his cooking will be good for sure.
Paid for by the Cook for the House Committee.
Talk Line with Hoppy is coming up next. But right now, you're listening to the Talk of the Town with Kay and Jim. Call 304-296-0041. This is Morgantown AM on 1440 WAJR.
And once again, giving you an opportunity to talk to delegates and candidates for the West Virginia House of Delegates in the 44th District. Both candidates in this morning, Steve Cook and also Kevin Patrick.